Hello, good morning. I'm Heda. I live in Bangkok. I'm an OFW. And I'm a single mom. I have two kids. They're 15 and 11. Um, I just want to talk today about three things. I have a little message to our oligarchs in the Philippines, to the CBCP, and there's a name that comes up all the time in the discussions regarding what's going on in our country, and that's Loida. I'm sorry, I did not get your family name. It just says that you live in New York, you have so much money, and that you are actually pouring so much money towards towards supporting the Liberal Party in the Philippines. So let's talk about those. To our oligarchs in the Philippines, I wish. I'm just one of the voices among many in our country at the moment, and I am nobody. I am only. I'm only an OFW. I'm just a regular Filipino citizen. I don't have a degree in law. I don't have. I'm not a journalist. I'm just a mother. But you know what? I think that entitles me to so much. Entitles me to say so much. Okay, because what's happening in our country at the moment, we are at the cusp of change. There is a revolution going on, and it's not being taken up in arms. And so, you know what? Okay, the Filipino people has always been very patient, very tolerant. We are a resilient flock. But you know, there's only so much you can do in terms of pushing an already very economically challenged people until we push back. So let's talk about those things. To our oligarchs, look, we know who you are. We talk about you. I mean, we really know you by name, okay? Among ourselves, we don't, okay, talk to you or name you or call you out, okay, on social media, okay? Because you with all your money, you might file a case against us, okay, on libel, okay? But okay, however, and you will win because okay, we don't have the same capacity in terms of power, influence, and money that you guys have. But okay, please hear us. Hear the call of a people that's been pushed to the limit way too much. The last how many decades now? Okay, since martial law. But then not even that. Okay, let's go back. We were under the Spanish rule for 300 years, and after that, okay, came the Americans, the Japanese. We have always been an oppressed people. We want to go back to that time when we ruled our islands, and we practiced self-governance. Actually, our call for federalism is a way of going back into our old ways, because pre-Spanish time, the Filipinos we are descended from warrior kings and queens who ruled and protected their islands from neighboring countries, from neighboring territories who wanted to take our territories. So that's who we really are. And that is why we are a passionate people. Don't name it rebellion. Don't name it being emotional. It's passion. And our passion stems from our love for family and our love for country. Look, we are a brilliant lot because we produced the best of the Malay race. Who's that? Jose Rizal. Okay, we know, as a people, we know very little about our national hero. And you know, at this time, in the midst of this revolution that's being waged among our people, we need to go back into our history and read more on the life of Jose Rizal and read more on his purpose and his goals when he wrote his novels. Where was he coming from? Because we are still there. We are still there at that time when we wanted to be free from the shackles of oppression. We are still there during Spanish time when we wanted our freedom, when we wanted self-rule, because we can. We are not people who don't know what to do with ourselves or what to do with our lives. Our oligarchs, okay, just please stop tampering with our democracy. Stop trying to influence or, pour your money into public officials to sway them into voting towards, okay, what you want, okay, to happen in our country. Please stop it, okay? Pour your money not into giving dole outs, not into giving food giving food to the hungry. Pour your money towards projects like Manny Piñol's projects in terms of irrigation systems. He wanted to modernize our agriculture. He's giving out tractors, okay, to our farmers. He's getting some experts into our country to teach our farmers and fisher folks how to do their livelihood that is more modern, that is smarter, and that yields, okay, crops in a more effective and efficient way. Why don't you pour your money towards that? Because you know what, okay, that is the fishermen and the fisher folks and the farmers are the very people that put food on your table. Even if you go to, you buy your food in Alabang, in Trinoma, it's the farmers who grow them. It's the fisher folks, okay, who get, okay, fish and seafood from the sea in order for you to enjoy. You are affected by whatever affects them. So pour your money towards, okay, the right path. If you are Christians and you have, even if you don't have any kind of spiritual belief, just reach into your humanity and stop tampering with democracy, because the people of the Philippines are sick and tired of the old ways. We want to be free of the shackles of being oppressed as a people. We want to be economically viable as a country so that OFWs are given a choice whether we want to stay in the country or not. Because right now we don't. Okay, look, and you have a social duty regarding this, because there was an article that came out, and this is, okay, maybe perhaps you don't, okay, feel this, because you have the money to keep your family together in the Philippines or wherever you want to stay. Some of you who are like Jim Paredes, for example, I have heard actually lives in Australia a lot more than in the Philippines. Okay, so why are you going against this war that is being waged in the country today, when you probably have more access to money than the people who are fighting for social justice, and for the people who are fighting for us to be more economically viable as a nation? Why are you doing that? Okay, because there are many children, there are more children in the Philippines who are growing motherless, parentless, fatherless, because their parents are outside and earning money for the family, which actually feeds the nation. Now, for a time, the past governments, okay, they were calling us heroes, okay. For a while, okay, that felt good. Yay, okay, OFWs are considered heroes. But you know what, okay, we don't want to be heroes if we are away from family, if we are not there for our children's birthdays, weddings, when our parents and grandparents pass away and we cannot be with family for emotional support and just being together for Christmases, for example. This is enough. Stop monopolizing our utility companies, our phone companies, for example. Even if you wanted to keep on owning them, please try to give back to your consumers, because we are the ones feeding you. Your profits, okay, come from your consumers. Have some kind of responsibility towards the people who put food on your table and who who helps you buy your Prada shoes and bags. Come on, please. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. And then it gets us all so mad. And you know, I've taken to Facebook and I've taken to going live because I have also been choking on these lies that are being put out into our media, which some of you probably pay, if not all of you pay, so that you can turn the stories around to your advantage. Whatever, okay, I don't know what your purpose are. Okay, you wanted to, what? Okay, to limit and restrict the Filipino people in terms of ideas. Okay, no, you can't. Because ang Filipino is not bobo. We are awake. Okay, we have always been an informed people. It's just that you have been preying on our patience and our tolerance. You know what? One of my colleagues recently has said that he has traveled to many places all over the world. He's American, and he was married to a half Filipina, half American lady. And he said that Filipinos have the best attitude among all the cultures that he has experienced and that he has worked with. Now, that is something that is a positive thing for us. However, okay, our powerful, our rich, our wealthy are using that to your own purpose, okay, which we feel are now becoming so personal. You don't seem to hear, and you even refuse to listen to what the people are clamoring for. What are we clamoring for? You spit at the word change. Why? The people wanted change. And the reason for that is because our dysfunctional systems no longer work for us. They have not been working. They have not been working for a long, long time. But we just, okay, we are a tolerant lot. And so we just keep on, looking down to the ground, have our heads down, because we wanted to focus on family, we wanted to focus on our children. But now the fight is about the future generations. This fight right now, no matter what your age, is towards, okay, the future of the next generation. So if you don't understand what is going on in our country right now, please pay attention. Read, listen, and find, okay, the two sides of the story. Do not just believe one side of it, and then form a third opinion about it if it calls for that. Please do that. To our CBCP, our spiritual leaders, okay, I don't want to be presumptuous and then just based things on what I am reading, because those two can be pretty biased against you. I don't have anything against the Catholic Church. I am a Catholic. I go to church. I do. Right now it's Lent. Okay, we're supposed to be curbing on our indulgences. So my call for our spiritual leaders, for our Catholic leaders in the Philippines, is this: separate state from church. Please tend to your flock, because we are needy of your leadership in terms of family, in terms of, please, okay, in churches, although this may not be your job, but I do feel it is, okay, because your job is supposed to be to tend to your flock. And so we are in need as a people. We are in need of teachings on personal finance, for example. Teach us that in after masses. Why don't you hold projects that teach people about how to manage their finances better? Because we as a people, we seem to lack that. We don't have that in our educational system. We need to learn how to look after our children. Our population is growing and growing. We also need to work with the government in order to fully implements the reproductive health law. I believe, and I do understand, okay, the church stand that, okay, it has to be the natural way. There has to be the one that needs to be followed within the reproductive health law is the natural mode of family planning. So please help the government, okay, work with the government, okay, to teach that to our people, because what I'm reading from our not just publications, okay, but these are actually official statements from health officials in the Philippines. There was something that I read where a health official said that it is very hard for them to fully implement a reproductive health program in order to empower women, especially in the rural areas, because our local government units prevent them from reaching the people in order to give them the necessary health teachings so they can be empowered in order to make major decisions about how many children they're going to have. And then the article went on to say that this health official said that part of that is because there are some local government officers who stand by their spiritual beliefs that this is not the way to go. So work with the government as to what is the best for the people, taking into account, okay, what the church stand is in terms of health, because health is paramount, and we cannot hope to tend to our children if there are too many of them. So help the government, okay, to teach the constituents, the Catholic group, in order to curb the number of children, because it is a necessary thing in order to live a good life. How can we go to church if people always have to work for money? Because there's just never enough. So that is my plea to our spiritual leaders back home. And if you wanted to influence our public officials, you know what? Tell many of our public officials, okay, especially the male ones, okay, who hold office in our national government, okay, tell them to stop womanizing. Because, okay, our recent film produced one, it's Etiquette for Mistresses, right? Okay, that's the film that actually shed light and highlighted what is going on in our higher ranks of office in the government, okay, and that is of officers, okay, or officials having many women in their lives, and oh, please, okay, don't try that on Digong, okay, he's already a lost cause. What I mean is that, okay, he says, okay, he answers to his maker up there, so don't even go there, okay, because he's not gonna listen. What I'm hoping to do is, what I'm hoping for our spiritual leaders to do is take leadership where it is really, really needed, okay? So if you wanted to influence public officials, okay, go to them and then talk to them from a spiritual sense, and tell them that having mistresses and then and then being corrupt and taking money from the taxpayers, okay, so that you can give your mistresses money so they can buy their Prada shoes and bags, okay, that is not, okay, that is not the way to go. And, okay, to our CBCP, the Philippines does not only belong to the Catholics. I am a Catholic. However, okay, I feel that we have set aside for so long our Muslim brothers. You know, the Philippines is not only Christian. We are Muslim too. And then among Christians, we're not just Catholic. We have so many denominations, okay? We have Jehovah's Witnesses. We have Baptists, Protestants, Iglesia ni Cristo. We have Seventh-day Adventists. There are so many denominations. We are not only a Catholic people, although yes, we are a majority. I think we might be going away from our from the call of our faith if we are just going to set aside those other groups of people who don't share the same beliefs, or I mean the same religion as we do. That is not okay. That is not social justice, and I don't think God wants that. I don't think the Pope, the Pope wants that. He reaches out, to Muslims. Last Lent season, if I'm not mistaken, that's when he washed the feet of some Muslims, from some Muslim believers, because that is a reaching out, to our Muslim brothers and sisters. Our Muslim brothers and sisters, especially those who live in Mindanao, have been left, to the elements of nature and to the elements that are repressive from our politicking. They have been waiting for for so long for all of us as a people, as a whole Filipino people, to collectively shout and scream their challenges too, and to champion their causes as well. What is that? We need to rally behind DNR Secretary Gina Lopez, because she is helping towards effecting some positive changes in Mindanao, especially in terms of conservation and preservation of our environment there, because many mining companies are dipping their fingers into our resources there, and it hurts the local people. Gina Lopez was talking about this in one of her videos, in many of her videos, where there are mining companies that are actually abusive of the local people. They do not give back to the communities that they are getting profit from. We need to stop those. So please, our spiritual leaders, please focus your energies where our people need it most. We have been a people that's been oppressed for a long time. Let us get out of that time during Spanish time, when we are such a repressive when we were living in such repressive systems. Let's change that. Let's turn it around as a people. Now, there's this Loida character who is always being talked about, in social media and in publications, and I don't know who you are. So I'm not going to be so presumptuous as to say that I know what your motives are. So correct me if I'm wrong, and I apologize ahead of time if I am barking up the wrong tree here. But my request to Loida is this: if you have so much money and you wanted to effect changes, in Philippine governance, and if you, as a human being, I would like to appeal to your heart as a female, as a woman, and I wish for you to pour your money, if you have so much of it to give away. Please pour your money into putting up schools in the Philippines. Put up libraries in the Philippines, because our children need that most. They need to be educated. Some of them have to help their families, because there's just too many of them in a family that they have to, they have to pull. They have to. How do you say this? It's not right when you say they have to put in hours in terms of work, in whatever products that they're selling, if they are a family who are into small-time businesses, or sometimes are they still allowed in construction sites, these children, in order to help their family earn money so that they can be fed. So that is my plea. That is my plea to Loida. I am not, okay, trying to rain on your parade. I am only trying to make a request from what I have seen when I went back, every time I go back home. When I went back home after Yolanda time, in order to give some money in the in the northern part of Iloilo, because Estancia, the northern a northern town there, was badly hit during Yolanda. I had money that a lot of Thais and Filipinos combined worked together in order to pool together. So our group, the Rebirth team, we gave them 22 boats. We identified one town there that was badly hit, that was not reached by government help at that time, and that was not reached by the NGOs. So there was a group of fishermen, and they lost all their boats. Okay, and so they did not have a livelihood at that, a source of income at that time. So we gave them boats, and you can really see the need in those areas. A library would be such a great thing for kids to spend time in those areas, and that is just one town among many in our country. And one of the things, okay, that I am so really proud and inspired of is one family. I'm not gonna name them on this video. One family that I am friends with back home in Iloilo, and they have they have selected a community, and they have put up a library there for the community. And what they do is they pull their resources together, and also call out to friends and to other donors, and in order to keep that family the library going. So you put your money into education, into educating our young, because those are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. If what you're fighting is for, which I believe a lot of us who are fighting on both ends of the spectrum, okay, on many ends of the spectrum, because there's not just two parties, there are many. And there are not just two political ideologies here, there are many. So those of us who are fighting on whichever side we are on, many of us believe that we are fighting in order to build a nation. All right, so why don't we just, okay, do away with parties? Because that is what parties is not what Digong is about. This is not what this administration is about. The first call that he did after he won, he said, heal the nation. Let's stop politicking. He's always been about this, okay, ever since, okay, he was campaigning. He is not a politician. That is why the people rally behind him, because he doesn't talk politics. He talks about results. Now, if you've been listening to his message when he was here in Thailand, you will be proud. You will be proud of this time when when our Filipino leader is talking to ASEAN leaders, because him being chairman, this is what he said: I needed to visit every member country of ASEAN, because I need to talk to their leaders so that I would know ahead of time before we get together as a group. I would know ahead of time what their needs are. This leader is being respected, not just in our region, but in other parts of the world. Please let him govern during his term. Do not tamper with our democracy. Let it run. The people have spoken. We wanted him to lead us the next 6 years. Please, okay, those people who are in power, have influence, have money, do not dip your fingers into politics. Pour your money into educating our young, because that is where it is most needed. Okay, I am not trying to be nagmamarunong. I am just one voice among many. But I think, okay, if you are here and you've been listening, I believe that perhaps it is because what I'm saying also resonates with your own experiences, with your own thoughts about what we should be as a country, as a people, as a nation. I need to be doing this in English because you know what? The world is watching us. We need to represent our people in a good light outside, okay, to external bodies, because Lenny's pre-recorded video to the UN has done so much damage to our image in the outside world. Okay, please, okay, do not delude yourself. If you are in the opposition and you still refuse to believe that that has done a lot of damage, ask us who live outside, because we will tell you, we have been telling you, okay, please do not refuse to listen, because here now, this is nation building here. Guys, campaign is done. That was months ago. Okay, people have spoken. We want, okay, this president to lead. Let him lead. Let him put, okay, the right people into those cabinet positions. You know what? Okay, what we can see from outside. Tagiwalo of DSWD, his choice. She is working. She is working every day, especially towards the empowerment of women. We have long needed a leader in that position for that, okay? It's not just social welfare. We need our women to be empowered. She is working towards that. Number two, Manny Piñol of the Department of Agriculture, okay, doing his best every single day. Okay, come on, watch his Facebook page. He is working towards empowering our farmers and our fisher folks. He is working in order to provide irrigation systems where they are needed, tractors where they are needed. He is getting in experts, okay, from outside the country to help us modernize our agriculture. We are an agricultural country, but we cannot even feed ourselves. We still import rice from countries like Vietnam, for example. Vietnam was a war-torn country until recent years. But look at them now. Their economy is robust, they are dynamic, and they are employing English teachers from the Philippines, okay? Don't we want that same kind of progress and economic viability in our country? Our people are hungry for it, okay? Please do not tamper with our democracy. Let this governance rule, let this governance, okay, effect the changes that it needs. Because you know what? If okay, some of these officials that have been put in place are going to go into corruption, or are going to go out of what, okay, the mandate of the people is, okay, we are here watching, and we are going to make noise. We're not just going to stand by and let, okay, people who have personal agenda derail this newfound freedom that we have. But because it's still not, okay, in full effect, we have not yet reached our 6-year time. So please, okay, get out of the way for now if you are not helping towards progress and towards reform. Okay, we need it. We have long hungered for it. That is my message for now. I hope that it's not going to be taken in a negative way. I don't mean anything other than supporting this presidency at the moment, because I believe, and as many of us do, that, okay, this governance right now is effective. It is streamlining our procedures, because our governance, okay, before was still rooted in the medieval times, okay, so he's modernizing it, okay, let it go, okay. Gina Lopez, okay, if you have not been following her, we need her confirmed as our Secretary of DENR, because she is helping towards the conservation and preservation of, especially of Mindanao. which happens to be where our poorest provinces are. Lanao del Sur has a poverty incidence of more than 60%. Please, let's look at the real statistics, the real data, share information that has something to do with with reforms and supporting this government, because we need it. If I truly believe that this is the only time that we can effect these changes. If not now, when are we going to do these things? If not this president, who? Who? Because, okay, he is leading this country and making a positive impact, not only within our nation, but in our region. Look, we need to stop, okay, cozying up to our American brothers and sisters, because, okay, we share more similarities in terms of geography, challenges, in terms of similarities among what we consider important among our ASEAN brothers and sisters. We need to focus in our region, because this is where help is going to come when we need it. That's all for now. Bye. Share the videos if you feel that they are useful.